welcome. Katie here. Thanks so much for joining me on the Imagine Crafts YouTube channel. Today I've got a quick Halloween card for you. We're going to use just a few supplies, and I did some prep work, and we'll do a few things here on camera too. So I actually created, it's going to look like this. This is the card we're going to make. Something similar, not exact. I used a different background here, but all the other elements are going to be the same. And I have this acetate. I got this years ago at Michael's, and it's this acetate, clear acetate pack. And this, you basically get 2 sheets per design. And so if you, we'll scroll through here for a second real quick, move a few things out. You got to put a little piece of white backing behind it to really get to see it. But there's some really cool designs on these papers, and I got it at Michael's years ago, and it's been sitting in my stash because I just didn't know what to do with it. This is the tree one. This is the one we're going to use today. And you know, it's basically just a cloudy background with some crows, we're going to call them, in the sky. The other ones are based on where we're cutting. It was going to be harder to see. So that was why I chose, and like this one's a spider web with a moon in the back. So really, really cool little paper pack. Acetate pack is really what I think it is. I'm not sure why they call it a paper pack, but I finally figured out a way to use it. And so I designed this card for Spellbinders a while back, and I thought, you know, I don't make a ton of Halloween cards, so this I really liked, and the die that I'm going to use has all these elements to make it really super easy. And so if you like to make Halloween cards, or you don't, you know, you just want to have 1 or 2 on hand, that's a fun way to do it. Okay, so we're going to use some Cheerful and our Brilliance Moonlight White, and that's what I did here on this gray cardstock. Now, the gray cardstock I'm using is like a smoky charcoal gray. So this one happens to just be from Gina K, but it's not going to be your lighter gray. It's definitely going to be your darker gray. And then I've got my elements cut out. I just used this die set. You know, I'm a big fan of Spellbinders die sets because they give you so many elements that can be used everywhere. Like this set here is from the Dolce Vita set that came out in the summer, I think it was. And so you get this arch die, you get these layering arch pieces, which you'll see as we put together. You get, you're able to make like a door, window door type thing, and a seascape, or, you know, put fruit and foliage and all that kind of stuff around the door. And of course it comes with stuff to create the steps. And that's what I used. I used the window pieces, the stairs, and I think that was it on those. So we're going to set that aside. Arch dies, if you got some layering arch dies, they're going to do the same thing. The only thing you'll do is you'll cut off your bottom to open it up. And that way you'll be able to just use your layering arch dies. So I'm going to put a couple of these pieces together here. So this, I did the wider die in the black, and the skinnier one in the same smoke gray stormy sky. And I'm gonna put it on the little one. That way it's easier to line up, moving stuff around. And I'm just using the On Point glue. This is a nice clear glue. Now, even though a lot of the white glues dry clear, this starts off clear, so you're guaranteed to have clear glue. Okay, just gonna line that up on the edge there. Scoot that over a little bit. Right. And I don't worry about a little bit of ink. It adds to the, or glue, it adds to the distressing, if you will. And let's do the same here. Just get these pieces layered on, and then we'll color up the pumpkins. Pumpkins are going to be super easy. Just going to use some Summertime VersaFine Clear for that. Any orange ink, detail it as much as you want. These are just tiny little pumpkin faces, so I didn't want to get crazy with the detail colors. And double-sided adhesive's actually my preferred. I get a little wild with the liquid glue, but sometimes it's easier when you gotta really paper piece things together that you've got you got some wiggle room with it. All right, so these are our pieces here. And I think that we will do our double-sided adhesive and get these layers on. And because I've got to use, now you could keep this as a clear window, like we've got the center cut out. You could cut and, you know, line it up and cut the center out of that and have it as a true window, because, you know, your acetate piece, you can cut it a little bigger. I cut it the shape of the window just to layer the pieces in together, but you could certainly cut it a little bit wider around the edge, which honestly may have been what I did the first time, even though I had to put a white backing on it. I really don't know what I did the first time as far as adding this, so I'm gonna go this route and just use 1/8 of an inch double-sided adhesive around the edge, because it will blend in. For the most part, you're not really going to be looking if it does poke through at that. This will just make it easier for me to line that window up. I'm going to trim off whatever I miss. Well, not too bad. All right. And I'm going to just take our adhesive off. Release paper rather off on this, and we'll get that laid in there, and we'll get our stairs and everything. We'll get all those particular elements. Now, I'm going to be tucking in the ghosts. I cut those out of some vellum. So this actually should lift up on the edge a little. So that's why, well, maybe not. Maybe I put it in too far. Yeah, okay. So that's gonna, and you just use your bone folder and your fingernail and smooth that part back down when you lift it up, if you have to. Once we get the vellum, I'll show you. Should be able to shimmy that in there. I'm using a 48-pound vellum, so it's a bit more stiffer than most of what people's vellum use. If you got a 65-pound, I think they make too. I get that at Cut Cardstock. I should have used the liquid glue here too. Okay. Let's find our stairs. Actually, we'll throw our spider in there real quick too. Alright, we're gonna butt right up. Now, when I trimmed this and, you know, lined my centerpiece up here, I had a gap here so you could see like the gray and the brick white. So I just cut a little sliver of black paper to fill that in. Put that right up in there. I might have to use, we'll see, I might be able to get this to adhere down, but I might have to use some double-sided. Adhesive on that, but we'll see. Might get lucky. See if I can block that can hold that down. Give it a little pressure. Give our Spidey a little bit of glue. Okay, that's not too bad. Alright, those are going to dry clear, so we won't worry too much about those. Now, ghosts are easy. We'll tuck those in first. I like these ones because they actually have like a free hand. Excuse me. All right, let's get our pumpkin colored. Just going to use some tiny blending brushes. This is just, you use a black backdrop. Let me see, do I showed you guys the die set for the animals and everything is actually the cuckoo clocks add-on for Spellbinders. Cuckoo clock, oh there it is. So you get all these little, it's the Halloween one, they have a Christmas one and a Thanksgiving, like autumn one. So you get a bunch of different little elements, and that's where our pumpkin and our mummy came from. All right, let's get a little summertime. Just a couple of pumpkins. Super easy. That's why I like the little elements sometimes. It's nice for being able to utilize other pieces like the acetate that I'm using and that kind of stuff without needing larger elements. All right, let's grab our pumpkin faces. And you know, you could always add more elements if you want, but I'm just keeping it simple. All right, grab our skull. I do have a little witch hat to put on our pumpkin, so we'll do them on this side, I think. That also comes in our little cuckoo clock die set. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's start putting our guys on. Also, when I did my stenciling, the stencil that I used is from Papertrey ink. It's this brick wall, and it's actually 2 layers, 2 different bricks. I use the more open one, if you have that. There's a lot of different bricks sets out there. And then I also used, with the Brilliance Moonlight White, a foam applicator, so that it would be, I find the brushes give you a softer blend. So when you need something that's going to be a bit more vibrant and punchy, which you would usually want with your white inks, foam's the way to go, I think. I have to use tape on this. Get our bat. Good way to spread out the glue too, is just use your finger. Sorry, you might not have heard that. I was over here. This is an old stamp set, Halloween stamp set from Cat Scrappiness. Oh, there it is. There we go. And probably gonna just put it across that. Maybe it would look better here. This one I did to Trick or Treat, so it's a smaller. Might look okay here. If I did it, chopped it up and did it up and down, it might look better. All right. That's right. You know what? I'm going to use a piece of double-sided adhesive. I forgot our acetate's raised a little bit. And then I'm just going to just show you on the back here. I'll put that on the back of a card base, a black card base, and that way you get that black border, and it's going to tie that all in. I like it. This one was white heat embossed. I like that too. I think that would make that stand out more. So that's also an option. Oh, you know what? I didn't see our fourth ghost down here. That's a good... I forgot I put that down there. I think I like about double-sided adhesives. You can roll that right into a little ball. And you got like an instant glue dot. Holds things in place. There we go. There. Not too bad. I definitely white heat emboss that sentiment. Make it stand out more next time. And I like that better. I like how the sky's not so dark compared to the just the birds. But hey, gotta try stuff, see what you like. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next video.